Yo, Ubani, I have a video of you dressed as a girl. Just know that.
How?
So,
That video must be
I
leaked.
mean,
we're not saying don't send us any feedback, bro. Hey, welcome back to the Parrot Side podcast. Myself, Skills. We got man like Rose.
Yes, Danny Brown's in the building, baby.
And we have Ordinary Kamal.
yo, what's up?
They said we're gassing you up, too much with the other intro. So we just have just a
is this
nigga named
waste-
Kamal.
Do you know what's funny? It's this guy that said it. This guy that literally right
And
here.
he's our
We're
special
about to
guest.
introduce. I
Finally.
don't even know
Finally
if it was this guy that said it, but yeah, this fucking waste man over here.
Nah, we don't need all that extra nonsense for Kamal. We just it's fine.
Bros even followed him on Twitter. Can you imagine? And then he'll come and say, "I'm his biggest hater." When the guy followed one of my biggest ops.
This nigga posted a video of me. How can you even
Come
compare
on,
that to
come
what
on.
you did?
Come on, you done him dirty.
Nah, but bro, I posted that after the guy already followed him. So it's not even like it happened
Nigga,
before.
that's
Like,
not
bro,
even the
you're
same
already following this
thing.
nigga coming on Twitter. Same thing if I wanted to be, nigga.
Nah, Kamal, that video was a violation, man.
I'm not
that
gonna
video
lie, you
trumps
done him
everything.
dirty. You done him dirty, fam. I'm not gonna lie.
Trumps everything.
Bro,
This nigga
but that shit
Kamal
was
gave
funny.
my real ops.
Funny, bro. And it fit the
That shit-
situation. And I gave you a heads
that
up
shit
too.
was
Hey, you can't blame me, man.
Nigga, you see
Hey,
useless heads up this guy gave me. I don't even know what was going on.
hey, anyone that wants to see it, check my Twitter.
Well, hey,
Alright.
y'all know what the fuck it is, boy. Obviously, all three of us, same primary school, Greenwood House School. If you know, then you know. Shout out the gang still. We're just here to do what was doing the Parrot Side. We're here to hang out. Come hang with your boys. All right, so obviously we have our agenda of the day. It's World Cup season. Different one. It's winter World Cup, but it's still hot as fuck in them ends. You get me? But Qatar is hosting it, and even before the World Cup started, there were all these controversies coming up because different country, different rules. So, couple issues as human rights issues, alcohol, women's rights. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, there's a lot there. But come on, start us off, man. What are you thinking?
Why did I knew this girl's gonna come to me first, bro? Okay. I mean, where do we even start with this one? I feel like the whole narrative coming into this whole World Cup, it's not even about the football. Like, all I've heard in the past week, 2 weeks is how we're hosting the World Cup in Qatar, and Qatar has all these human rights issues, and they're not humane people, this and that, this and that. Let's put aside how they got the World Cup in the first place. There's actually this documentary that just came out on Netflix,
The corruption.
detailing the corruption in FIFA, and part of it looks into how Qatar basically paid their way to get the World Cup hosted there. So let's put that aside for now. My main thing is this whole narrative around Qatar and it supposedly being this terrible place that isn't fit to host the World Cup. And the thing is, like, most of these other countries have their own problems too. Like, the next one I think is USA and Canada, isn't it? Like, you can tell me the USA. Canada is a bit better, I guess, but you can't tell me the USA is this place that is suddenly safe for everyone to go to and there's no issues. I mean, USA have their
Well,
own fair share of human rights
okay.
problems, but it's
Oh, you
just
mean okay, human right? Okay.
yeah. I mean, they've had their history with human rights problems, and yeah, like
Could you give
a
an
lot of people
example
you talk to,
of
oh,
like
human
a
rights.
specific? Yeah, no. So like saying the US, for example.
I mean,
Like
when I
if,
say historically, I'm talking like back to slavery and all that. Like,
oh no,
if
oh
we're
yeah, no. I
talking about,
mean, so like now, though, so if they are to host the World Cup, like now, like what the next one?
so not
Do you?
now I'm talking more about safety.
Okay,
Safety in
got
the
you.
US because of active shooters and all that. Like, it happens way too frequently in the
I
US.
mean,
So yes, I mean, it is a thing.
yo,
Um, and US is also very corrupt. Like, it's like Nigeria on steroids. It's the US. So it's what I'm basically saying is a lot of these places have their imperfections, and like there's no perfect place to host the World Cup. So, but let's get into the main thing here, because the main thing here is about how gay people will not be safe in Qatar.
Wait, come
I
on.
feel like
Before you get into that, I think like
Yeah.
one of the reasons why there's a large spotlight around this whole Qatar stuff is because, first of all, when you think of the stadiums or stadia rather, I saw one stuff that
Shit, vocab.
yeah, we know the English. Yeah, we know it.
A few.
When you think of I think it was an article that said that they're going to demolish all of the stadia rather, after this World
I
Cup
swear you can just say stadiums,
is
but
done. Nah,
yeah.
I gotta keep the English fresh. So
like you
like
had an
yeah,
S at the end, but like it's okay.
I heard that like I saw the article where they said that they are going to demolish all of the stadia like after the World Cup, and it's quite crazy considering the fact that the number of people that have died as a result of like this whole World Cup, going into the stadium, the stadia, and all of that, and just the whole circumstances around it. I mean, I think about over 15 to 16,000 people have died as a result of like the preparation towards this World Cup. So I feel like that's why like there's been like a huge spotlight on like the whole Qatar thing. Like aside from the whole bribery and corruption stuff, because like you said, I mean, America, they are no saints. The UK, they are no saints. So many other countries, they are not saints and all. So I think that's mainly why like people have so many question marks on like Qatar, like the number of people that have died as a result, and even in terms of like how much they are being paid and all. So
Do you know what? I mean, I don't disagree with that. I mean, that's even what I thought he meant at first, say human rights. But like, I feel like, although that one is there, I feel like the one that I've seen more, on like mainstream media is definitely the whole okay, well, alcohol be there with this da. But I do feel you though, because the whole that one too can also go back into the point of well, I don't even think Qatar is fit to host a World Cup, anyways, infrastructure wise, because it's not a very big country. There's just not a whole lot of space. Most of the stadiums are pretty much around the same area. Like it's just like so. Yeah, them even demolishing is like I mean, to be they don't need it. Like it's like taking up a lot of their space. You know what I'm saying? So there's that, sure, but on the like human aspect part, the human rights part of it. Like I don't know, cause come on, what were you going to say for like the gay rights?
I was gonna say like this is my first time actually hearing about this whole death thing. Rose, you definitely inflated that figure, by the way. It's not even close to
I don't
I
think
think
it's
it's at 15,
inflated.
16K.
That's a
Nigga,
lot
you
of
said
people to die,
15,
sure.
16K.
That's a lot of people. Like
Yeah, that's a lot of people, nigga. And yeah, I agree with Skills. I don't think that's the main narrative, because if it was, I would have definitely heard about it before now. Like this is the first time of me even hearing about it, and it's um it's
Wait,
closer to
let me
34 to
read it from
37.
you. As well, human rights activists position first speak of 6,500, even 15,000 alleged deaths in relation to the soccer tournament.
allegedly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but most of them are
So
not
probably it's not a
actually. So
confirmed figure, but like the fact that like okay, it says the widely reported figure of 15,021 migrant worker deaths. That's a crazy number, bro.
no, but if you the official figure is actually 37.
Okay.
Yeah, and do you know what's crazy? Like, the Qatar guys said that there are only 3 deaths. So if
Yeah,
there are
so
15,000,
Plus, like, what are they dying? Are they dying as a result of just like normal labor? Because these are
no,
not like
it's like
Probably like the working
it's dead
conditions.
since the World Cup. No, that's what I'm saying.
it's
If you're
like
talking about the
building the
working conditions,
stadiums, building the
the
stadiums,
working
building the
conditions.
hotels, stuff like that.
Yeah, so that's the one that's 37, the one that has to do with stadiums and all that. The larger figure is the number of people that have died since Qatar were announced to have hosted the World Cup. And a lot of those are natural deaths, which is what the actual government officials are saying. Like most of those are natural deaths, but when it comes to stadium related deaths, like the figure is 37. And there's also like NGOs that are monitoring the situation there, and they don't echo the same 6,500 figure that's been reported. Like a lot of it is untrue. It's inflated for reasons we're gonna get into.
That's what I'm gonna say. Do you think perhaps
But
it's
yeah,
propaganda to like put Qatar down, considering all the other human rights
it's part
issues?
of it's part of it. It's the fact that I mean, I guess we have to get into a wider like when it comes to Islamic countries or Islam as a religion, generally
Yeah.
speaking, the narrative around it is negative. So
Yeah,
there's
that's true.
always propaganda and political whatever that's associated to Islam, and Qatar is an
It's,
Islamic state.
it's good you
And
mentioned
also
that,
what comes
Kamal.
with
It's good you mentioned that because,
yeah,
like, you know, I'm sure you guys have seen that whole stuff about Iran executing 15,000 protesters or something along the lines.
oh yeah, I saw that, yeah, I saw that too, the
Apparently,
whole
it's not
protest.
true.
Yeah, I mean, it was never gonna be, it was never gonna be that high of a number. But there are people that have died due to the protest. That part is true.
Yeah.
But yeah, executing that's just crazy.
15,000, like
But like I said, it's just a thing that goes with anything Islamic associated
Islamic,
or
yeah.
affiliated, right? So, and like and as I say, like when you talk about Islam and Qatar being an Islamic state, they're gonna follow Islamic laws, and part of Islamic laws are alcohol is not allowed in Islam. So therefore, alcohol is not sold in Qatar. It's a very straightforward rule. The fact that there's a push for alcohol to be sold during the World Cup because there's gonna be non-Islam people there is crazy to me. It's like it's like someone coming into Nigeria and saying we have to legalize weed because it's legal in my country. Like no, like that's not how shit works. Alcohol, objectively speaking, is dangerous. Objectively, it's just not a good thing. Like the fact that it's legal in most places doesn't mean um when I'm going into a country that is not legal, we should suddenly legalize it for this one event. Why can't you just go to an event for 3, 4 weeks, follow the rules of the country, and go back home? It's like if you are going on a holiday to Qatar, you're not gonna all of a sudden say I'm gonna have alcohol on this holiday, but because it's the World Cup, you
Yeah,
want to say,
facts.
oh, we should allow alcohol. Like that doesn't really make sense to me. Um,
Let
but like a lot
me
of you guys have your say on this
Yeah,
alcohol
wait,
thing,
no,
so before I
let me
go,
play devil's advocate there for a second. 'Cause I do feel you.
yeah.
In fact, I pretty much agree. But do you think perhaps maybe yeah, I know what you're going to answer, Asha. I know but let me just ask. Do you think perhaps maybe perhaps because like from a host perspective, it's like, okay, these aren't usually my values. And normally, to be honest, we won't get this many people coming here anyways. So whilst we're here in an attempt to maximize tourism, perhaps maybe just for this period, because it's like the World Cup, right? Like everybody in the world, blah blah. Let's consider, okay, let them do this for this.
Skills, you already know the answer to that question.
Yeah, I know what it's going to see.
The answer is obviously no, but like you have to understand why the answer is no.
That's
So
why
when it
that's the
comes
main.
to when it comes to alcohol, right? Like I said, objectively speaking, alcohol is not a good thing. Like it's dangerous to you.
But that's not
It's
why though.
harmful to your body.
It's for religious reasons though.
It's
Is why.
yeah, but that's why it's not allowed Islamically. That's what I'm trying to
You know,
get
I
at.
know, but I mean
Islamically,
that could go either way. But like the main piece, because okay, it's a religious thing, and that's that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It's,
but that's what I'm trying to say. Like it's a religious thing for certain reasons.
Ubani, what are you saying for?
Um, I think I agree with what Kamal is saying because you can't just for these. I think the World Cup is like a month. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
going to last
basically. Yeah.
yeah. So if you're going to allow like alcohol for that month, you're going to first of all you're going to cause a lot of problems because it's not just going to last for that. I don't think it's going to just last for that month. There's still going to be like on unsold alcohol. First of all, where's the unsold alcohol going to go after the World Cup is over? The Qataris are not going to drink the
Yeah.
alcohol. They're not going to sell everything at the World Cup. Do you get? So that's one problem. And they can't just like keep all their values behind because of a 1 month. And when they were being awarded that contract, I'm sure all these things they knew all these things. This is not this. These things are not new for like
I don't know
for
if that
what.
was at the forefront of their thoughts, but
Yeah, but like, and this thing they awarded them the contract 16 years ago. So it's not as if they just awarded them like just now. Like they knew they had time. And Qatar has always been an Islamic state. It's not a new thing. So, and you know that you're not going to be able to drink and all this kind of things. So I don't think it's just people trying to bring up issues. And I think I actually think that this thing it stems from the whole gay rights thing, to be honest, because um you are not allowing the gay rights thing, and then people are now trying to look for poke more holes into why Qatar is still not, like, they're trying to just bring them down more. Oh, this is not allowed, this is not allowed, this is not allowed, and stuff like that.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I mean, I guess we can get into the whole gay rights thing. Like, gay rights was legalized in the UK and the US when? It's not even that long ago, is it? Like, really, really. Like,
Well,
it's fairly
I don't know
recent,
about the
isn't it?
rights per se. I mean, people have been gay from time, but the marriage, like gay marriage, that one was legalized under President Obama. But niggas been gay
So
before
fairly
that.
recent.
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
not
there's
too
gay
long.
people in Qatar, I'm sure. Like, there's gay people everywhere. But
Do you know,
yeah,
honestly,
there is. There's gay people
honestly,
everywhere.
if we, yeah, you could be right. If you did like a census and you ask everyone their orientation like anonymously, I don't actually imagine there will be a lot of gay people. Like, I think it cannot be more than 5. I'll be surprised if it was more than 5 in Qatar.
Bro, let me tell you something.
Nah,
When I
how
traveled,
about?
when I went to Saudi, right, I
Because
can
Qatar
bet.
is not a very big
I
country,
don't.
right? But go on.
It's not a very big country, but like, there's definitely gay people, bro. Like I said, when I went to Saudi, one of the receptionists at that hotel, I'm like 95 to, I'm like so sure that nigga was gay, bro. Like,
What makes you
either
think
he
it was
was
gay?
gay or he was just super feminine, like really, really feminine. Like, he wore makeup,
He
he
won't make
wore
up lipstick.
yeah, like light makeup, he powdered his face and all that, like, and then
You want me to
like I said, he
follow you
wore
up to
lipstick.
your room to
Ye-
stack some boxes?
Ew.
Nigga. No, you didn't. But I'm just saying, I'm pretty sure that guy. Someone told me like Arabs, a lot of Arabs are like that. But I saw the kind of Arabs she was referencing, and yeah, those are more effeminate men. Like, those are a bit different. This guy, I'm like, I would have been really surprised if he wasn't. But yeah, I'm pretty sure there's gay people everywhere. But what I'm trying to say is, like, the concept of gay marriage and etc. is fairly recent, right? Now, when it comes to like gay whatever in gay rights in Qatar and this whole World Cup thing,
Mhm.
what really is the issue? Is it the fact that you can't be gay in public? Is that what it is? Or is it that, well, if you're gay, period, and you step foot in Qatar, you're suddenly at risk of something? Like, what's the bigger issue here?
I think it's
Is
that.
it
See,
like
okay,
maybe it's
here's
an influence thing?
nah. I don't think so. I mean, because you see gay people on TV all the time. That's literally all you see on Netflix, anyways. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think
Yeah, that's
it's.
facts.
I don't think Qatar is set up to be colorful friendly. You know what I'm saying? That's why I feel like they can't
Ye-
be that many because Qatar is not a big country in the
Okay,
first place.
quick detour. Are there gay people in Nigeria?
Yeah,
That was what I was going to ask
yeah,
next.
there are gay people in Nigeria.
So
There's no gay Nigerians.
how does that they're not gay?
But I'm saying no. My point is
Jesus,
there are not
there are no
many
gay
though.
Nigerians.
No, I said there are gay Nigerians. I know gay
Oh, there
Nigerians.
are. Oh,
Of course they are.
so how does that work? So how does that work then?
How does
Because
that work
this
in relation
society,
to what?
to what you said, if it's a societal thing, then how do you
No,
get
I'm
gay
not saying there
Nigerians?
can be 0 gay people. I didn't say that. I said I don't think there can be that many because there is not like a conducive environment for that. Just everybody's experience is going to be different, right?
So you think in Nigeria there aren't that many then?
Nah, I don't think I'd like if we take a random 100,000 people. I don't know, man. I don't think it can be up to like 40% anywhere near. Like it can't be. It can't be anywhere near
Yeah, that's a
40%.
lot though.
Can't be
40%
near
is a lot.
40%. Maybe like a good 15.
I would give it 15 at the very max.
But that's
To
still a
be honest.
large number. I mean,
That's still a good
15%
number.
No,
of
yeah, it's a large number,
100,000.
but it's
That's
not in
15,000 people.
comparison. I'm talking about the whole country. I'm not talking about the random. Yeah, it's a large number if you are gay, but if
But
you're
then
not,
consider the fact that like gay people are already marginalized. So to have that many number
That's
of
what I'm
marginalized,
exactly. Yeah,
that's a large
that's a
number,
lot.
guy.
But they are marginalized because they are a minority in terms of on a general scale, though, right? So yeah, so in Qatar, that's what I'm saying. Like, if we take the whole country and they all answer truthfully, I genuinely don't think it will be that high. I'm not saying they don't exist, obviously they do, but it cannot be that high.
Yeah,
That's
I'd be surprised. Some of the high officials, people pulling the strings, a lot of them might be.
So I feel like if you're talking, because what I've seen mostly on the internet is, well, if I'm gay and I go into Qatar and I can't be myself, like they don't recognize me for being myself. I'm like, okay, I feel you, right? If we're talking like PDA is not allowed, regardless of if you're gay or not. Like whether you're straight or whether you're gay, you can't do PDA in public. It just is what it is. So let's put that to one side. Now, what's really at play here is an ideological difference in the sense that in Islam and most religions, being gay is not a thing, right? It's not allowed. Whereas in the Western countries, being gay is recognized and is accepted. And I feel like what it is just that people aren't willing to accept that some people do not agree with the concept of gay rights or being gay in general because they feel like what they're doing is harmless and it doesn't affect anyone. So why can they just do what they do? And for the most part, I do understand that line of thinking, like devoid of religion and that sort of thinking. Like I can see if you're agnostic or if you're atheist, why you would subscribe to that school of thought. Even though, and very ironically, a lot of atheists and agnostic people don't fuck with gay people, which I don't know where that comes from, but it is a thing. But like what I also want to say is it's not always enough to just say something doesn't affect anyone, so therefore you should allow me do it. I was watching this debate, and this guy was like, "What if I proposed that we should allow incest on the condition that they don't have kids? Is that okay?" And the whole thinking behind that is, if you're gonna allow incest and say you can't have kids, it's the same thing like, oh, I'm doing this to this person and it doesn't affect anyone, so why can't I do it? But generally speaking, around the
I
world,
mean,
it's not allowed.
okay, well,
So,
that's
skills.
just kind of
Let's
gross.
propose it to you. Yeah, but why? But that's that. Regardless of if you find it gross or not, because you probably find gay.
Don't people
sex
still do
gross too, so
incest
that's not the
anyways,
point.
though?
Yeah, but would you legalize it? Is what I'm saying. Would you
I don't
legalize
think
it?
it's illegalized. Like, people just do it. Like,
No,
I
it's
wouldn't
definitely
legalize.
illegal.
Is it legal?
It's definitely illegal. It's
Yeah,
definitely
it's
illegal.
illegal. It's
Where?
illegal.
Can't be Alabama.
Everywhere, bro.
Everywhere, bro.
Everywhere.
Cannot be Alabama.
Yeah,
No
that shit
fucking
is
way.
illegal, man.
Yeah, it's
Okay, actually, I should rephrase. I won't say I'm in favor. Like, I don't mind. I don't mind. Like, I don't care. It's the same way I was saying thing I was saying about incest. Like, I don't care if niggas out there want to sleep with their cousins. I'm that's kind of weird, but like, but legalizing it is kind of mad, though. Fucking hell.
now. Do you understand? What the wider point here is the way you view incest, right? And you saying it's just wrong, it's just weird, it just doesn't feel right to you.
That's how
Is
people
the way
see
a
gay
religious
people.
person
Facts.
views gay people.
Facts.
It's just like if God said, Adam and Eve, right? God, man and woman, this is how it should be. What non-religious people need to understand about religious people is God is above all. Like God's law is law. Like what he says is what goes. If you're talking about someone that created every single fucking thing on this earth, right? This is someone that has more power than anything else. And this is someone that can see the world or what's going to happen 15, 20,000 years from now. So if he says man should be with woman and not man, and man should not be with man, then you should take that as truth. That's the religious way of viewing things. Like what he says is truth. So if that's the law you follow, because religion is, if you want to think of it differently, is like a political ideology. The way people subscribe to liberalism, conservatism, I subscribe to Islam, right? And under Islam, the law is you shouldn't gay rights should not be allowed. Like that's just what it is. So like if that's my way of thinking and I view God the way I view God, why would I then put my view of God to the side, knowing all I know about him, to follow a rule that man says, oh, we should allow this because it doesn't affect anyone? I'm like, nah, because if God says this is how it is, in my mind, this is how it should be. So the same way someone can view incest and say, nah, it just doesn't feel right because of how they've been conditioned societally to not agree with the concept of brother and sister sleeping together, even though it doesn't affect anyone. It's the same way a religious person is going to view a man and a man or a woman and a woman sleeping together, even though it doesn't affect anyone. And people just can't seem to get their heads around that. It doesn't mean we hate gay people. It doesn't mean we want to fucking kill all gay people. It just means this way of life isn't something I agree to because I think God knows better than man. That's just is what it is. Did you
Pretty
see the
much the
Loris
same thing,
interview? Did
Hugo
you see the
Lloris.
Loris
Hugo
interview where he
Lloris.
said, yeah, where he said he wasn't gonna wear the rainbow armband?
Armband, yeah.
And he said that he's not going to do that because he's going to a World Cup in Qatar and he knows what the culture of Qatar is. Like anywhere he travels to, he respects the culture, so
He
he doesn't
respects for
see
culture,
why
yeah.
he should do any different because the media tells him to. Like if he's going to Qatar and Qatar doesn't respect or doesn't acknowledge gay rights, then he's not going to go against that. You know,
Yeah,
and a lot of footballers share that view, which is crazy. A lot of them aren't able to say it because consequences that come
But
with
like,
that.
I also think like it's cause like what you said is right because the problem is because gay people want to like showcase that they are gay during the World Cup and in stadiums and stuff. And the Qatar government came out and said that you can be gay and you can come, but like don't come to the stadium waving
yeah,
flags and
that's what
stuff.
I'm saying. I don't think there was ever
Like,
really a problem until
yeah,
gay people like, no, I want to wave
it's
an
just like
LGBT flag. It's like, no, why would you do that? Though?
they don't have enough like security to protect you during the World Cup. Like they're not going to be able to like
Yeah,
if a random civilian attacks you if you are waving your gay flag, they're not going to be able to protect you. So just
exactly,
don't do
exactly.
that.
That's even what I was
Do
gonna
you
say.
get? They're like you can
Like the real danger isn't the government.
yeah, the government is like, oh, we can't
The
like
real
there are going
danger
to
is
be
the people.
millions of people during the World Cup. We can't protect all of you.
Yeah,
So if all of you come out, if
it's
a
the
random
people, bro.
Qatari attacks you in the street now,
Yeah,
you're not going to
exactly.
say it's a Qatari that attacked you. You're going to say the Qatar government did not protect us during the World Cup. Do you get? And like
Yeah, exactly.
that's what they're
That's what
saying.
they
Like they
said.
can't protect all of us. They can't protect everyone. They don't have like the Qatar. First of all, Qatar is not even a big country, so they don't even have enough people to come and start pr- policing everybody. So just respect yourself. After 3 months, or like in your like what Kamal said, when you get to your hotel room, you do what you like. But like when you're in public, just calm, keep calm, relax, calm down.
Relax. And this is what I'm saying. Like, if they went to Qatar and it wasn't a World Cup and they just went on a holiday, like, are they gonna do? Are they gonna say these same things,
They wouldn't go
or
if
are
it
they
wasn't a
not?
World Cup. Though. It's the other part of it, but like it's still facts. It's still the same country. Though.
Yeah.
Mm,
And
yeah,
like Kamal said, I think it should just be a thing of simply being able to obey certain rules for a period of time. Because you're coming to a different country, like you know how they operate and all. So just it's not by force. You mustn't come for the World Cup. It's not
But that's the thing.
compulsory.
That was perhaps the first point I was trying to make of the slight consideration is because we know half these people, 80% of those people would not go to Qatar anyways, if not for the World Cup. So that's why it was then that other aspect of maybe, but at the same
That's
time, no,
debatable, Sha.
because you can't compromise. It's
That's
just like
debatable, bro.
I don't know if it's debatable.
Because
I
you
mean, I
you
don't.
see the number of people that go to these countries for holidays, guy. You'd be
lots of
surprised.
non-Muslims in Dubai.
Qatar, okay, I mean, Qatar is
Exactly.
cool, but Qatar is not like the popular tourist spot. Though. Like if you're going Middle East area, Qatar is not
Yeah,
usually
but
like.
if you're going Dubai, it's similar.
No, I
Yeah.
agree. But what I'm saying is that like I don't think they would be there, at least not this amount of people, anyways, if not for the
But
World Cup.
then like isn't the same rules that apply in Qatar the same rules that apply in Dubai as well?
Dubai is a bit
Saudi.
more. I mean, I don't know. What's Dubai like? I get the impression that
Uh,
Dubai is a bit more, just a tad bit more, anyways. Like it's a bit more
I mean,
free.
as far as I know, I mean, you guys can keep talking. I'll actually look it up real quick.
Yeah, because if you think of Dubai as like
Yeah,
a huge
I
tourist
think
attraction, they know bare non-Muslims are gonna be there.
Yeah, I think Dubai is a bit more lax with their
Yeah, it has
rules.
to be. Must be.
Like they're not. It's not. Obviously, it's not like free for all. But like, I think they're a
Yeah.
bit more lax because like they are in the spotlight and their main thing is tourism, so they can't just like be
Facts.
like ban everything. So
Yeah, they won't
I
get the
think they're a
same
bit,
tourism that they're getting today.
yeah,
So
yeah.
don't get me
I think
wrong,
they're a
like
bit
I
more
feel
lax.
that you know what I'm saying, but that's just like if you're going to the country, you have to respect their rules. But then it was just that other aspect. That's the first point I was trying to make of like, but they won't be there though if not for the World Cup. That's why should they consider allowing drinking? Yeah, consideration maybe, but I mean religious values at the end of the day. So
But like
So
drinking
when it
is
comes,
not. It's not as if drinking is banned though during the World Cup. It's like it's just they have like designated fan places where you can get a drink. You're just not allowed to drink in like in the stadium and stadium environs.
or alcohol.
You get like so it's not. Yeah, alcohol. It's not as if drinking is banned. It's not banned totally. It's
Oh, that
just
was the impression I
during.
got. I thought it was just not drinking the whole country.
No. It's like there are just
bro,
like a few designated spots where you can get a drink, but like it's
yeah,
not. There are not many
it's similar to
places.
Dubai.
Mm.
Yeah.
So the rule is, if you're gonna drink, you have to, there's certain places that are given alcohol and liquor licenses, and it's mostly restaurants, hotels, and
Is that
bars.
Dubai or is that
So if
Qatar?
Dubai, and I think
Okay,
it's
okay.
the same in Qatar. So if you want to drink, it's has to be in like one of those venues. It's not a thing where in the US where you just be carrying alcohol around. It doesn't work like that.
I mean, yeah, I guess. It
Yeah.
fits the impression of the US and the West, like as if niggas are just drinking on the street and shooting each other. It's like, what? Nah,
Yeah, nigga, go
that's
to the
that's not
UK,
what it is.
bro. Bro, go to the UK on a Friday night and see what's up. Like it's bad niggas was drinking, bro. Like I'm not even joking. Like UK as well, and I'm calling it right now. Yeah, at the end of this World Cup, what you're gonna hear is, "Oh, it's not as bad as we thought." I'm like,
No, but
and that's
but
this
what
the
you've just said is they allow them to drink in certain situations, so or in certain places. Sorry, so I mean, of course, it's not going to be as
yeah.
bad
I,
as
I don't
as
know.
they thought.
I don't know if, but if that's the case, you already knew that before you got there. Like, if you're someone that wants to drink, you're gonna look it up before you go to Qatar and see you can't really drink. So it's not a thing where you only realize when you got there. What I'm saying is this whole narrative around gay people and alcohol and human rights, and by time this whole World Cup is over, what you're gonna hear is it wasn't as bad as we thought. And that's the general vibe whenever there's a heavy narrative around a certain place from the outside looking in. But then when you actually get there and spend some time, you're like, huh, it's okay. It's like the same with me when I was doing NYC in Zamfara, and everyone was like, "Oh, Zamfara, it's this, is that, is this, is that." And yeah, the road is bad and there's kidnappers and whatnot, but like when you actually get there, it's no different from living anywhere else. It's just that the narrative around the place is so much worse than what the actual place is. Same thing with Saudi when we talk about women's rights and issues, and when you get there, it's honestly, I, I mean, obviously I'm not a woman, but I don't see any difference in that and Nigeria and wherever. Like it's just is what it is. And like I said, I'm calling it now. By the time this World Cup ends, what you're gonna hear is it's not as bad as we thought.
Speaking of women's rights, our next agenda: toxic masculinity. Ubani, what are you saying, for? How do women have to deal with men and their toxicity?
I don't know. This Kamal, first of all, Kamal, you need to relax. This
What
guy,
you mean?
I
I
don't
didn't
know.
say
He's just
anything.
yeah, always trying to call me out. It's calm down.
Bro, you sound very insecure right now, bro. Like I just laughed. Like I didn't even do
Shut
anything.
up. Your laugh. There are a
All
lot of
right,
nonsense
talk.
in
Okay,
that
talk. All right, talk.
laugh. What was the question? Sorry.
Toxic masculinity
That's
now.
already about to start. It's about to start capping already, man.
No. I want to like
Come on,
make
has my
sure
guy
that
rattled.
relax. I don't want to make
I
sure
talk
like
then.
we're on the same page. Like you said, or like what am I saying about toxic masculinity and like how women have to deal with toxic masculinity?
Yeah, I think that was like the initial first part of the topic.
Mhm.
Anyways.
Yeah, I just feel like from like testimonies and stuff, there are lots of
Testimonies.
You know, like,
Testimonies?
Go
Nigga,
on,
are
go
we
on.
in church?
Relax, Rose.
relax now. You guys know what I mean. Why are we acting badly?
Okay, sorry, guys, stop bullying this guy now.
We're just
Like,
trolling,
allow
we're
him.
trolling.
Yeah.
It's a parasite, it's a parasite.
From like testimonies them for like women, like things that women say and like their experiences and stuff. Like there are a lot of things that have
Naji,
to
you're
do with
waffling. I beg. Let's get a different. This guy's waffling all over the
Wait,
place.
let me say the
I-
point so I can't address the
fuck you
point.
guys, man. Fuck you guys, man.
It's just something about testimony.
All right. Sorry.
We bring offering to. Nah, I'm sorry.
Y'all have no respect. This problem. This is actually toxic masculinity right here. This is an example.
Okay, now we talking.
You guys have no respect.
No, but
You need to listen.
in our defense, you've been waffling for 2 minutes.
No,
You
what?
didn't let me
We
speak.
didn't let him land, though.
You didn't let me
Land,
speak. So what do you mean?
land.
Okay,
Let him land.
speak.
Come on, let him land. Land.
It's too much pressure now, man. It's too much pressure.
No worries. This is the Parasite. We hanging out.
You guys,
Safe space.
Men usually like the whole narrative around men and like with the entitlement and the way they act or the way they expect women to be and like entitlement to women and their bodies and stuff like that, and just generally how what
You don't fucked up, nigga. But carry on.
Come on, fuck off.
what are you saying now? How? Anyway,
Let the
Carry
nigga
on, carry on.
land for fuck's sake.
Land, man.
uh,
Come on, why are you acting like skills in this episode?
see, come on
I don't
is
even
an
move
up.
like that, dude, to be honest. I let the nigga.
Come on just doesn't like me,
This
man.
guy. I think
Come
this
on
guy
is
one
always
of my
trying.
greatest ops, man. And the guy
Come on
happens
is
to come
always
and just
trying to do this. It's just basically toxic masculinity. When I hear toxic masculinity, I just basically think, a guy basically trying to impose himself or his values or stuff on women and things like that. That's basically it.
Ubani, I have a question for you.
Shoot.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think men feel more entitled to women's bodies than women feel entitled to men's money?
To men's money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or
So do you feel
yes?
so when
or
you go on
action.
social media or like anything, like do you see more of, okay, if a man and a woman let's say you want to go on a first date or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
do you think there's more pressure on men to spend, or do you think there's more pressure on women to,
Put out.
I don't know, give out or whatever, or put out or whatever?
There's more pressure on men to spend, yeah. But that is a lot of the time that is actually can actually be attributed to the man himself, to be honest.
What?
Like, yeah. Like you can there's pressure from women also, yes, but like there's also pressure from like the man's
Which
like
side
side,
which side
the
is putting more
ego and
pressure?
women obviously, but like the men,
Okay.
the ego and all that adds to the fact that you feel like you have to spend to be able to like impress.
See, I agree with you that that's rooted in toxic masculinity, but I also think it's important to recognize where that comes from. Because I don't feel like a lot of men, given the choice, right? Let's say they grew up in a society where they weren't expected to do these things, like have to pay and finance a whole relationship or whatever. I don't think they would put that much pressure on themselves, right? If that wasn't the society they grew up in. I do feel like a large part of why men feel that pressure is because they grew up in a society where men do that and women expect men to do that. So they feel like if they don't do that, then they're not going to be able to get a woman because everyone expects a man to do that, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, but isn't that like most societies though?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying a large part of why that is still comes down to women expecting that of men.
No, but that's not. I don't think that's the toxic part in the whole thing. The toxic part is women expect like you to spend. Yeah, that way you're saying like women expect you to spend so that you can. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but like the toxic part is when, or like from the point of the woman. Yeah, the whole toxic masculinity part is when you now feel like because you spent, you are entitled to like the woman and all that stuff.
We can still take it
Yeah,
back
that's
to
what I'm
why
saying.
did
Like
she feel like she was entitled to be
entitled to
paying
him
less for
spending.
this?
That's what I'm getting. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So perhaps there's also toxic
Like-
femininity.
If you're understanding what we're
Yeah,
saying,
there is toxic
we're
femininity.
saying
now.
that. Okay, Ubani, what we're essentially saying is, and this is something we've explained on passports before. I think men value women's physical appearances and whatever in the same way that women value men's finances. So if you're doing a priority list for most men, appearance will come first, and a lot of women, the finances will come first. So if we're taking that on a practical sense, you're saying a lot of men feel entitled to women's bodies. And I'm saying in the same way, a lot of women feel entitled to men's money. And if I was to do a fucking poll, I feel like every single day on social media, I'm seeing a woman talking about how a man didn't do this and that for her. Literally every single time. And I don't think, in fact, I'm pretty sure I don't see even nearly as much. I don't see men rarely ever go out in public and say, "Oh, this woman didn't fucking put up for me." Like I went on a date with her and she didn't put out. Like you
Yeah,
see it
because then
every
that's
now and then.
that's the whole point of. It's the whole point of like men are not. You can't. It's not like you're basically not allowed to do that.
But then why are women allowed to
Loud,
then do it on
exactly. So
their
why is
side?
it toxic? That's what I'm saying. Why is it toxic when
Yeah,
men
so if
feel
anything, it just
like
seems
I
like it
spent
is
this,
toxic
and that?
femininity. Yeah.
Yeah, like
That's
the
what
Like,
toxicity only is only one way.
Femininity.
no, like it's the whole situation of like, oh, if you go out and start saying, oh, this woman didn't do this, you sound like you're bitching about it and stuff. So like you're not.
Yeah, but women do
It's not
that
as if it's
too,
not.
though.
Yeah,
Bro,
women
if a
are, but
woman
like
goes on a date,
women are
if a woman
allowed
goes on a
to.
date and
why are
spends
they
her own money,
allowed?
she's
Ubani?
gonna go
No,
and bitch
that
about it.
is. I don't know. That's how the world works. I
Who
guess
coined
because
the
like
phrase toxic masculinity? Do you think it was a man or a woman?
it was a woman, obviously, probably.
But why you agreeing with
So,
it though?
yeah,
I'm
that's
not
what I'm
agreeing with it.
saying. Like,
I'm trying. That's what I'm agreeing with it. I'm just playing like I'm just trying to come from that side of the story. I'm not. That's what I'm not like on any side basically.
I just feel it's disingenuous to say men are being toxic because on occasion when they spend money and they don't get what they want in return, they bitch about it. But then women are allowed to do the exact same thing and it not being seen as a toxic trait, but only when a man does it. I just think that double standard makes no fucking sense because it's the same thing being done in just two different ways.
Yeah, but like
So that's why
women are also considered toxic when they do all that now.
no, they're not. No,
But
they're fucking not.
they're really
I've never
not. Like
seen
you
a
don't see that
woman.
Yeah.
narrative.
I've never seen a woman
When
being considered toxic because she didn't expect to pay on a first date. I've never seen the word
no,
toxic
not
attached
just
to it.
I'm not that's
Yeah.
yeah, no, that is like the beginning. What you're talking about is not even like toxic at all. Women, the toxic part becomes when the woman now um feels like just because she's the woman, like I forgot about like after the first dates, yeah, like
Mhm.
when you now enter the relationship and like things have moved, when
Mhm.
the woman now feels like, oh, she's entitled to, like she doesn't have to work for anything, she's entitled to do everything, and then she starts like that's the whole toxic part about. I don't think just the fact that she doesn't pay on the first date is considered toxic. The same way I don't think if a guy bitches about um just because the woman didn't put out on the first date, just that one instance of the first date, it's toxic. I don't think that's toxic also.
But that's how you started, though.
No, that's not why. That's not how I started. I
I,
started
I
by
I feel
saying,
like you just picked the wrong example to use for toxic masculinity. I think that's pretty much just it.
Yeah,
I
because I
don't
feel
know.
like you started with the whole. Anyway, if you're changing what you said, though, if that's not what you meant, but that's how I took how you started. Like you saying, if a man bitches about that, then he's toxic, but a woman can do it. Like, if that's not what you're saying, then it's cool. I mean, when it comes to this toxic masculinity thing, I feel like I'm looking at more so from the emotional perspective of it because I feel like a lot of guys aren't able to express themselves without being called a bitch or,
Yeah,
another
that's what I'm
phrase
like.
like
You
attached to that.
can't express yourself
Um,
unless you're like labeled.
Actually, okay, I don't know. I feel like I have something to say about that. So usually, right? So what you're saying, I get you're coming from the perspective of like guys usually like they're not allowed to be like emotional and stuff, right?
Yeah, they have to be strong. You can't
Yeah,
cry.
they have to be like Future.
Do you see that as a bad thing or a good thing?
Yeah. I think it's a bad thing.
It's a bad thing, no?
Okay.
I mean,
So-
we're human beings. We all have emotions.
No, agreed,
Yeah.
100%. Would you prefer a society where men are allowed to be just as emotional as women are allowed to be?
The guy
No.
used that just as
Very
emotional
honest.
very intentionally. He used it very
I'm asking
intentionally,
you a
just as
question. No, wait,
and he
no.
put
I'm
emphasis
not
on the
trying
just
to.
too.
I'm trying
Yeah,
to
nigga, I see what you're doing, bro.
Wait, no, wait.
I
Let me
think that's
clarify.
realistic, Sha.
We're not in the
You
court of
can't
law.
quantify
Wait,
you can't
relax.
quantify
We're not in the
emotions.
court
Man.
of law. This is the Parrot Side. We're just yanning. I'm just asking you a question. No, I can't give you a viewpoint. I said just as emotional. Yeah, so come on, what do you think?
Oh, I'm still thinking. This nigga's already answered.
You're
The
still
bunny said
thinking,
no.
okay,
so
while you're
tell
still
us.
thinking, by the way, all I want to add is so you know how like come on, you're a dickhead. Do you know why? Because like we have a lot of similar viewpoints, but like when I'm a bit more reckless. So when I'm in the deep end, like on previous episodes, you ain't coming out to save me, motherfucker. You're like, yeah, let's go on skills.
And next time, hire Kamal. No, I mean, he's a lawyer.
Nigga, like I said, why are you trying to grip me with you, bro?
That's what I'm
I can't
saying.
go
We
with
have a
you
lot
on
of the same
everything.
viewpoint. But when I'm caught in the deep end, come on, I'm saving
Nah.
niggas. I'm like, oh,
I feel
that's
like
how
I
we
feel
did
like
it, yeah?
we can have the same conclusion, but we get there differently. I feel like that's
It
how
don't matter how
most
we
of it
get
is.
there, nigga. The destination's a
I think it
destination.
does.
Nigga,
I
no,
think it
because
does.
facts is facts is facts. It's a fact.
Yeah, it does. It does
It
actually.
definitely
No,
does.
nigga, if I say
It does.
2 plus 2 is 4 versus 2 plus fucking 2 is fucking 4, niggas, it's still 4, motherfuckers.
Guy,
What kind of
that's not even a
But
good
that-
example.
Nah,
It's saying that's exactly what it
actually,
is, though.
I don't know if I
That's
said
actually
this
a
to you
very
guys on
good
a good
Instagram, but
example.
I said this.
Yeah.
I said this sketch, this
Come on,
comedic
man.
sketch, where this guy was talking about how white people and black people insult people differently. So like, a white person would say something like, "I met this fucking Asian the other day," and then a black person would be like, "I met this Asian motherfucker the other day," and it's and it's taken two completely different ways, and it's literally because in one of them, the Asian is the noun. So when you say I met this fucking Asian, the Asian is the noun. So if you say fucking as a descriptive word before the Asian, it comes out differently. But if you say I met this
Yeah, I
Asian
saw that
motherfucker
too.
the other day, it sounds just different. It sounds
The guy,
mild,
the guy
you know.
said
I
The
depends
skills,
where you put
that's
it.
me and you.
I don't think it's a good
Yeah,
thing, though.
skills,
Yeah.
No, I
that's
don't
me
think
and
that's a
you.
good example. But
No, but
no
skills,
problem.
if you say gay rights shouldn't be allowed in Qatar because I fucking hate gay people, and I say gay
I
rights
didn't
shouldn't be allowed in
say
Qatar
that.
because we need to respect a culture. It's two different things, but it's the same ending. That's
Yeah,
what I'm
okay,
trying to
but
say.
that wasn't the ending we came to
That's the
earlier
extreme.
today. by the
Obviously,
way.
that's an extreme.
Just
I'm
to
just trying
clarify
to. I'm
for the
just trying.
viewers.
Yeah, I'm
I
just
did
trying to
not
show
say
you.
that.
Yeah, but Ubani, why did you say no? Why don't you want niggas being emotional, man?
No, because that's too much emotions. You can't have everybody being emotional. You need some rationality.
But you just said masculinity is toxic, so shouldn't.
No, I use the question was as emotional as
Okay,
women.
but do you think it should be more emotional than they are,
Yeah, we should be allowed to be more emotional because
but
that will
not
save a
as
lot.
emotional as women?
Definitely not as emotional. Women even need to be less emotional. So in general,
Okay.
Wait, why do you
you
say
need,
that? Actually, I actually want to know.
why did I say women need to be?
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of there are too many things being there's many decisions being made on emotions when they
That's
should be rational.
facts.
When they should be made on rationality. There's many decisions being made on emotions.
I
We need
would
more.
argue. I would agree with you on the perspective of a lot of societies, like a lot of actions we do are based on protecting women's emotions. Like that's usually the first instinct. So I would
Whoa.
agree in that aspect.
Wait, wait. Can you expand on that? What do you mean?
Yeah, I want to
Like when you're
understand.
dealing with like girls and boys or women and women, for example, oftentimes you don't address, like, even if you try your best, sometimes you don't just address it the same way. Because if I
Mhm.
like we said when Omarsa was here, right? Like if like your friend is fucking up, you won't address it the same way if they're a girl or whatever. Because like it's like, that first thing is like, okay, let me like not say such, the emotions won't run wild and stuff like that. So like that's on a small scale example, like that's pretty much how it happens most of the time, to be fair. So yeah, man.
Actually, I don't think so. I don't think so. Because so I feel like babes, we we kind of underestimate the amount of influence that babes have on their friends. Bro, babes, if you are messing up, they will call you out too. Within their friend groups, they will call you out. I feel like we're just speaking from, certain perspective. Well, like babes, guys, see, babes, they support their friends die. And if you're messing up, they'll tell you that you're messing up.
Yeah,
The
I'm
only
saying the
thing is
manner
that,
in which they say it though.
I don't know.
guy,
Actually,
if
Rose,
you're messing up, they'll clear you. They'll clear you that you are
like you
messing up.
said,
You're
it's all
being
about perspective,
foolish.
but in my experience, that is not the case. I'll be
Yeah,
honest. Yeah, my
yeah.
experience,
I don't
that's
think.
not the
I think
I mean,
I know the group chat Rose is talking about, but that's not common at all.
I'm not even talking about. I listened to a pod. I told you guys I've been listening to
The Parrot Side.
podcast now,
Mhm.
and these
case.
babes highlighted are like, if I'm doing this thing, and like these are actual babes that have friends. Like majority of their friend groups are
Mhm.
filled with babes. So I mean, like, I would definitely take their word for it. To be honest,
Yeah, but Rose, what about your own female friends? Like, don't look at because it could just be her and her own, like the type of friend she likes to keep around. Maybe they're that type of friends, but like generally speaking, with the friends you have, they're women, and do you see that in their own friend groups?
yeah, definitely. Most of
Okay,
them,
so
they
that's what I'm
won't
saying. In my
just see
experience,
you.
I don't.
They don't see you
Yeah, I
looking
mean,
and like they don't see you messing up, and they're like, make I just free this
yeah, no,
babe. I beg, let her do
I
whatever
see
she wants to do.
friends putting the other friends on game, but the manner in which they come at it is always going to be like that's what it boils down to. Because we're all in the same friend group. The way they will address a guy or they will address a girl that they don't know, talking in third person, but when it's actually face to face, they have to, they have to cater to the women's feelings. Is usually how I see it, sha. But like I feel.
I feel like they. Okay, this is what I'm. This is from the ones I know, right? They have this for the most part they support each other, right? Regardless of what it is, they'll support. But then when they're not supporting, they're fighting. Like I rarely see the like Rose said, like I'll call you out, you did this, we have a conversation about it, and just move on. I
Mm.
rarely see that honestly. Like it's always this long drawn out thing of, oh, she said I did this, can you believe etc etc, and then it would take days and weeks to fix like this one disagreement that they had. Like honestly, that's that's what I've seen more often than not. But
Yeah,
like I said, it's all limited to the experiences you have. Um, I'm sure for the most part, other girls are maybe not like that, but the ones I know tend to be like that.
yeah.
Mm.
I think the ones I know are like that too. Because like I've seen situations where like they've come to tell me like I didn't even know they were fighting yet, and then randomly someone just walks up to me and tells me like, oh, me and this person are no more, like we're not talking anymore, and I'm like, what happened? Then the reason is not usually like something you're supposed to be like breaking up, like fighting over. It's something like you can just like discuss. You get like normally you would just
Yeah,
discuss,
exactly.
but like
Just
there's
discuss and
no
get over
middle
it.
ground. Is either they are supporting each other or like it's war. It's like they're fighting. It's weird. I don't know.
Like I don't think you ever hear a guy say, "I don't keep male friends." Personally, it's not something I've heard.
Yeah,
Like
but
I don't
women
keep.
will say I
But you
don't
hear
keep female
women
friends.
say,
Yeah.
"I don't keep female friends." Like that's weird to me.
Facts.
Like
Yeah.
honestly, like I find that so weird. Like some women will openly say, like a lot of women as well, will openly say, "I don't
That's a
keep
red flag
female
anyway.
friends." They
If you
ask
don't
me
have
why,
female
and they
friends,
say
if
it's
you have female
messy.
friends, that's
I
actually a
thought
huge
that
red
too.
flag.
Yeah,
I
that's
actually thought that.
facts. I think it's a red flag.
Yeah, but they'll say like
What do you
they'll
mean you
say
don't
it's
have female
messy to
friends?
keep friends. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, and they always say it's messy, and they say it's messy because of what I just said. Like it's
Bro,
always
it's
also
those
me that
babes
fight.
that are the problem. They are the one, you are the problem. You say, I don't keep female friends. There was one babe like this that that babe, she was a problem. She was a real problem. And I say, oh, I don't keep him. Shut up, Jerry. You don't know you are the problem here. Yeah, I mean those. Like, what are you on about?
The Rose say you didn't do us. Is that we said in that video on Twitter when you guys eating that.
Guys, shut up, I beg. Now, come on,
Yeah, I
you're
was
moving
thinking
up
the
on my
exact
ups thing.
same thing, man. You know, I saved that video, man. I think I'm going to use that video one day. I saved that
Oh,
video.
you saved it too.
Yeah, I
Nigga,
saved
you
that video.
saved it? You have joined my list of my top 10 ups, guy.
No, that's a
For
meme,
saving
man.
that video.
I need that video. That thing was too
Yeah,
funny.
guy, I told you that shit is funny, bro. Rose, I'm sorry,
That
like
thing
it's
is
just too
too
funny.
funny.
Well, yeah, niggas. Oh, yeah, on a serious note, actually, like, guys need to be able to express themselves a bit more
Yeah,
because
but answer my question
the
though.
amount
Do you
of,
think they should be just as emotional as women?
I think there used to be balance in everything. Like, if women are going to be a certain
So
way, then you
yes.
need to have some balance on the other side. No, 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 no. I said no.
Okay.
On a wide basis, like on a macro level, no. On a micro level, it's definitely possible in a relationship where the woman isn't as emotional and you have a guy that is more emotional, then yeah, the guy could be more emotional than the woman. But on a macro level, I think there needs to be a bit more balance. And at this point in society, the conditioning is at a level where I don't think men could ever overtake women when it comes to being able to express themselves in that way. So if a balance needs to be struck one way or the other, it's going to be on the man or on men generally to be less emotional, and for women to carry more of that emotional mantle, and for men to, be the rock that holds them down when they're going through stuff. But yeah, on a micro level, it's definitely possible.
You know
I
what
want
I
to
think?
ask skills. I want to ask you a
What's up?
question. Are you worried about the consequences of those emotions, like the actions that follow through?
Well, me, no, I never said men shouldn't be more emotional. I ain't say that.
No, like I mean, like in general, the
Uh-huh.
reason why I'm sure you feel like men should definitely not be as emotional as women.
Yeah, I don't think it should be just as emotional, but I think we should be
Okay,
more
so
emotional.
is it because of like the consequences of those emotions, like the reactions or the actions that um proceed as a result of those emotions?
I don't know. I feel like there are a lot of layers to it, to be honest, because not even outside of like an individual perspective, even from a societal perspective, and I'll kind of get to that. But like, I think it's this. I think it's we all claim we all advocate for men should be more emotional and this and that and that. But on a general scale, like society doesn't like it's kind of like what I said in the last couple episodes ago. Like reality always hits men a lot harder than it does for women. Like so. Say for example, like a guy, common guy, whatever, growing up in the West, US, whatever. There's all this advocacy, be more emotional, be blah 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 blah. And not for nothing. I'm not saying whether this is good or bad. I'm just saying this is probably how it will go down. That more emotional guy, he will be seen as him. It doesn't have to be. It's not gay. He's straight, but he will be seen as a bit more feminine, a bit more this and a bit more that. So certain man who want to fuck with him, that's fine because he's still probably gonna have friends. But the truth of the matter is, most babes wouldn't want to get with my guy because like he's not like that masculine figure, right? Now, okay, some of them will get girlfriends. Let's be honest, the babe would then probably break up with the guy for them other man them. You know what I'm saying? Is that experience right there? That's what's then going to turn my guy into a dickhead and be less emotional and be blah 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 blah. So I feel like even if you try your best, I feel like society is still going to spit it back at you like, nah, nigga, you a man, you're supposed to blah 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 blah. But there is a point where okay, now it's just too much because certain men are depressed, certain men are committing suicide. Like let's calm down. So yeah, to answer Rose's question, yeah, I feel like because of the consequences, yeah, they should be more emotional, but I don't think they can be just as emotional because it's not going to work out well for everybody. And this might be, I don't know, man. I mean,
What
I could
about
be wrong.
compartmentalization?
What does that mean?
Like, okay,
Sorry.
so basically, what compartmentalization
Well, like
means
hiding,
is,
like pressing down your feelings or like not addressing them.
yeah, like let's say
Oh.
you are in a workspace now
Mm-hmm.
and you've experienced like a loss, you're able to, shift that loss to another side and just focus on your work without
Mm-hmm.
anybody actually being able to tell that, oh, okay,
Mm-hmm.
this person recently
Yeah,
just
men can do
experienced
that a
a
lot.
loss and
Yeah,
all of that.
yeah. Uh-huh. So what's your question on it? Like, is like what about
Like,
combating?
I mean, like, can't that like be the case? Can't
For who? For
like, if even if like men are as emotional as women, but they can still
Mhm.
compartmentalize. I mean,
No, but compartment, whatever you just said, the word is not even. I don't even think that's not even recommended apparently. Because if you talk to any therapist, they'll be like, "No, you need to be able to address your feelings, right?" And here's the thing. Here's where that would happen. It's because I mean I don't know, man. Because I don't try to make it seem like I'm some sort of pessimist, but this is just the reality we live in. As a guy, when you're going through them tough times, you're going through your shit. Eventually, you'd be like, man, niggas won't really give a fuck like that. But if you're a woman and you post something sad on socials, I promise you, bare niggas, boys and girls, to be on you like, hope you're okay, darling, blah blah. But if you're a guy, you post like you're not getting the same vibe. You know what I'm saying? So like, I think that's where that whole compets will come in. Because it's like, let me just like, you know what, no, like, no, I'm out here on my ones. Let me just put it down and like do go on my thing. Because like deep down, no one really cares. You know what I'm saying? So that's not good in itself, in my opinion. So like I said, guys should be more emotional. But I think I don't know, because you can't really quantify emotion, but I don't think it should be on the same level as women. I think is a lot of it. But like that's basically my opinion. Like, yeah, I mean, guys, I think should be more emotional. I mean, you don't want to breed a situation where like everybody just bottling this up and then the suicide and depression rates go up because like 80% of suicides are already men anyways. You know what I'm saying? So like let's allow men to be more expressive. More therapy.
Yeah, I was actually gonna go back to one thing you said earlier about how even if men wanted to be more expressive and emotional, like society wouldn't allow them to do it. And you brought up how you go and meet if they were to be with a girl who wanted that and then end up breaking up with them. The very ironic thing about that whole story you said was a lot of times it's women who say they want men to be more expressive and
But they don't want it though.
available.
They don't want it.
And I do agree with you that a large part of them. Okay, but the main
Let the
issue
record
here
show
is
Kamal agreed with me, by the way. We're going.
yeah, but the thing is, like, all women aren't the same is the issue. Like, you have the woman who wants the whole more emotional men, but then you have the woman who wants the traditional conservative version of a man who is just rock solid and doesn't really show that much emotion. And the thing is, like, you can't take one blanket rule and apply it to everyone. Like, you have to adapt depending on who you're with.
Well, you can't
So
apply it to
it's
everyone, but
just
you can
very
address the generality though.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's very sad that you have women advocating for men to be more emotional, but then that one guy that in your story that now takes that advice and says, okay, let me try this out, but then he ends up with a girl that doesn't want that, and then all of a sudden he's like, okay, maybe this wasn't the way to go, and then he turns into that other version that you said. Like, it's a very it's a very sad. I don't know how
Like,
much
this time, like,
honesty
I have a
women
question
actually
now.
want from men. Sorry.
That's an interesting point that you said.
Yeah, also like I have a
Ubani,
question. So like, how much emotion is more emotional? Because like, if you say you want someone that's more emotional, and then the floodgates open, and then the guy is now extra emotional, then obviously you will now then the girl will now say, oh, you're too emotional, so like this is not working. You get like that? I think that's what you're trying to say. Like when you now open up,
yeah.
So
I've said this in the past.
how
Like, the
much?
best way to put it is you hear women say they want men to be more emotional, but then you
Yeah,
also hear women say, I'm not looking to be someone's therapist or mother.
yeah, but that's what I'm
It
saying. So
doesn't
like,
go.
where's that?
The two
Where's the
statements
line?
don't go. The two things, both of those cannot be happening at the same time. Like,
Facts.
if
And I don't
men
know
were
why they
not
say
being
it in the first
emotional,
place. Like it's
yeah, like, if we're not being
just
emotional
mean
and opening up to you guys, how can you be doing therapy for men? Like, the only way you're doing therapy for guys is if they're being emotional to you guys. Like, that's the only way. So those two statements just don't go. I don't understand that. So yeah, being a man, it's a it's a lose-lose
No, but
thing when
like
it comes to this.
it's
now,
tough.
is
It's
it like
tough.
when you say
Hey, Ubani, what are you
when you
saying?
say like those two things can't go? Is it like the same woman that is saying these two things, or like different women saying the two things?
It's I've heard it from the same woman, bro. I've
Yeah,
heard the same woman
honestly, it's
saying
the same woman.
men
Honestly,
need
The
it's
to
the
same
same
be
woman
woman.
more
saying like you need to be
Yes.
more emotional and you can't be a
more
therapist.
emotional.
Trust me.
And
Yes.
I've seen the same woman saying,
Facts.
I can't be doing therapy for men. Men need to deal with their trauma before they come and meet me. Like, I've heard the
Facts.
same woman, bro. The same
They
woman.
do.
Yeah,
Facts.
yeah, then that's a problem. I thought you meant like I thought you were talking like generally. If it's generally, then
Nah.
obviously like
Even if it's generally that's
But
still bringing
generally,
the
though,
same
that's
issue.
no,
most
but if it's
women would
generally,
hear.
different
Yeah.
different
Yeah,
women have
generally it's
different
still the same
opinions now.
issue.
No, but like if
And the
generally, like
fucking
you can't.
why do women always want to tell men what to do? Like, why are you always telling
Men
us
also
how to
tell
be?
women what to do now. So we're all in this together.
We can't, fam.
Niggas don't really
How?
say women need to be less emotional or like,
We can't say that.
Bruh, we're not. It's not like accepted, but we say it all the time.
what
Like
do we
it's
say?
not.
Give me an example.
I don't know. I can't come one to at top of my head, but like
We don't
men
say
tell
it.
like there's this whole narrative of men should stay out of women's business. Where does that come from? It's not because men are always like trying to tell women what to do, how to live.
Yeah, but generally speaking, that's why that thing came, and right now I don't really see it like that.
Yeah, because like a lot of men have stopped now because like people are pointing it out. Like, but
If I went on
it still
Twitter right
happens.
now, yeah, how long do you think
But
it
it
would
still
take me
happens
to find a tweet of a woman saying what a man should do with his money or should do with his life versus me finding what a man should do or a man saying what a woman should do?
on Twitter. Probably not long.
So what does that
But like
tell you?
it's the same thing. Like it won't take you long to find a man saying something about a woman also, I feel.
Depends
Like
on
the
what
most
he's saying, though. For the most part, you won't find anything.
somebody like making fun of women or like it's mostly derogatory. I agree with derogatory things, but I don't know if they give like advice of or saying this is how a woman should live her life. I don't really see the live her life as much as I see the derogatory things.
Let's wrap up
Nah,
the thing.
okay.
Yo, spin your boys on
Your
the
girls.
fucking Paris. Hey, y'all know what it is, boy. Shout out the gang still. Ritos 5 stars.
Yeah, talking about toxic masculinity, you have to include the girls too, nigga.
But where are the fucking girls? Yeah, bro. Why you being extra?
They're listening in the background.
I said is okay.
Actually, most of you as are girls now, so who would have thought?
Actually, is that what it starts saying?
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
what's
I'm
up,
sure you guys
babe?
must.
Babes, what's up? You know what I'm saying?
Dude.
Yeah, that sounds creepy as hell, bro. Hey, follow us on Instagram at the Parrot Side. Yeah, all that good stuff. Share with your friends, etc.
I can't. I'm sorry. I can't. Don't send us no fucking feedback too, nigga. Goddamn. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I had to say it, bro.
Guy, I don't understand you. We agreed to do something, to test.
It's Bants
I
now.
don't
Relax.
understand why is
Why is this guy on my neck?
Who is this, bro?
Nigga.
Yeah, Rose, get to rush you next time you play FIFA.